Hello, I'm Seung-Young in Team 11. So, based on the report of Team 5, we selected 4 use cases scenarios for the mockup, which is tutorial for an exam session, create exam session, and take an exam and submit a solution, and test source code during the session. So from now on, we'll see the mockup page and the issues of the requirement.
시작하겠습니다. Hi, I'm Youngcher Kim from Team 11. First of all, it is the tutorial for the exam session scenario. In the basic condition, there are two suggest tags. First is this. But examiner can be wondering how to use the system in the middle of the exam. So it is not appropriate for the examiner to be able to do tutorial only once. Therefore, we suggest the tutorial button to show the tutorial whenever examiner want. Second is this. If we check the Don't Look Again button, the tutorial will not appear when the user enter the exam. However, the user can see the tutorial by click the Help button. In addition, we implement the Skip button, so examiner can see the only desired tutorial using the Skip button. From now on, let's look at the issues of the scenario by learning the actual mockup page. First, sign in the student account. The grading system then shows the exam session that the student can attend. If the student click the exam button, can enter the exam session. As soon as the student click the exam button, the original scenario shows the tutorial of the exam session page directly. However, through the process of creating actual mockup page, more detailed steps are required to reflect the requirement of user. So we add three scenario steps before presenting the tutorial. First, are you sure to take this exam pop-up? The grading system needs to check the student's entrance to the exam with pop-up window because there may be some student who click mistakenly. Second, the exam notice check page. Third, Handong honor code agreement page. Students should check the checkbox and agreement box. After the above three steps, the grading system displays the tutorial of exam session page, where the student can see the rule for the exam and problems. Then, when the student clicks the Start the Exam button, the exam starts. Student can see the tutorial on how to use the grading system. The previous scenario wrote the tutorial in 5 steps, but we added missing part to create a tutorial in 8 steps, like this. The student can follow the tutorial 8 steps using the previous button and next button and skip button. In addition, we made a help button at the top of the exam session page so that student can view it again at any time.
Hi, my name is Kyung Kim. I will introduce user scenario 3. User scenario 3 is about creating exam session for the professor. When the professor presses the create session button, the grading system shows the create session page. In this page, the professor can enter the information about the target session. The previous user scenario does not divide the creating session and the creating problem. However, problems can share between sessions and multiple problems can exist in one session. Therefore, we separate the creating session activities and the problem creation. To creating session, managing examining is also important. We decided that the professor can modify examining freely before exam start time. Therefore, managing examining function should be placed in the session management page. I will explain it later with mockup tool. For the creating session, professor should have to type the detailed information about the session. When the professor presses the confirm button, the grading system will create the new session with the typed information. This is the creating problem function. Follow the requirements, the session can have more than one problem. However, previous scenario premised that one session can have only one problem, but in real programming test, exam session can have more than one problem. Therefore, we decide that one session can have more than one problem. The professor should type the information about problem. By the way, if the professor wants to get existing problem, professor can use import public problem button. The professor can select among existing problem. We can see that existing problem is successfully loaded. The previous scenario does not specify managing examinees. However, the professor must have authority to add or manage the examinee. Therefore, we implement the examinee management page. The professor can add examinee with 3 different ways. If professor wants to delete examinee, we can simply delete examinee with this delete button. That's it. Now we can upload the session. When we press the upload button, the grading system sends the added problem and examining information to server. Unlike the previous scenario, we implement special pop-up message to professor to notify creating session process works explicitly.
Hello, I'm Jae-min, and I'll talk about the issue number 5. The issue 5 is deals with the examination. So we moved the scenarios which not concern directly with taking the examination. We thought that it makes more strict measurement for the examination. So the scenarios about honor codes page and certification is moved to UC2 tutorial section. We also deleted the additional certification scenarios. Actually, we made the homepage or it displays only the sessions that the student can access. It is classified as the invitation from the professor. So there are no need any special ID and password or some additional certification. Let's start the scenarios. It is start from the exam session page. You can see the 2 buttons, Help and Language section on the above of right side. The help page shows the 8 steps of help messages which we shown in use case 2. You can see this message whenever you need help about the system. And the next button, Language Selection button. You can change the current using language by push this button. This system can provide 12 languages and professor can adjust for each session. There was an exception about the language selection. We solved the problem by the C++ as default programming language. When changing the language, the current code is saved with the current language and loads the previous code if there is a code written by the selected language. Now starts the programming. The student read the problem explaining section and write source code in the code editor. In this scenario, there are some requirements about automatically saving, but we thought that it needs too much resource. So we resolved that saving the code when run the code for testing or move to other problem page is more efficient. At the bottom of the page, there are 2 buttons, Run and Score. Run button is used to test the code by test cases. It will be handled by use case 6. When pushing the Score button, the system scoring the source code by scoring criteria cases. It prints out the result of scoring as output. The output contains the information about time and memory usage and result the pass or fail. After finishing the programming, the student can push the final submit button for submission. When push the button, the system shows the caution pop-up about the final submission. If the student pushes the confirm button, the system starts evaluation and shows the progress about the evaluating. After evaluation, shows the success submission button. After evaluation, it shows the success submission pages. This page contains the results of test. The information such as score, grade accuracy, efficiency, and ranking of students are printed. The student can push the go back button to move out from the pages. And it is the end of UC number 5. Thank you.
Use case 6, test source code during the test session. In the previous scenario, the scenario of adding a user-defined test case was omitted. So we added adding a test case scenario before executing the source code scenario. A student pressed the adding a test case button. Grading system showed the adding test case page. Student just enter the test case like this. Student press the confirm button. Adding grading system update the user-defined test case and then send the update signal. Other scenario for the executing the source code were the same. When the student pressed the run button, the result panel just show the input, output, and scoring result. So far, these are requirement discussions. Please give me a feedback on the revised requirement scenarios. Thank you.